So hey world, welcome to my channel and welcome to The Night Agent Season 2 review. If you didn't watch my Season 1 review, definitely go check it out before watching this one. Or unless you don't care and you just want the thoughts on Season 2, then hey. But yeah, this is gonna be like just some opinions on the seasons, not necessarily gonna be that much in depth. If the video ends up being long, then that's because I talk a lot and I talk about a lot of stuff. So, because the first one I was like, I don't know if I have that much to talk about, and the video is like 25 minutes, and I'm like, oh, okay. But yeah, just to start the review, I just want to say that it is really hard when you watch a show now and you love the first season. It's really hard to not compare it to the second season, because right after I finished, I was like, I love season 1 better. I like season 1 better. I love it more. And that's because that's where I knew the characters. And it doesn't mean that season 2 is bad, but it's just like, it was so good. And it's what made me love the show. It was season 1. And season 2 was very different also. I feel like that also played into it, because it wasn't the same thing. And that's one of the things that I don't like about shows like now, because if you look at other shows like, I don't know, like Teen Wolf, Pretty Little Liars, The Flash, Supergirl, all of those shows that were famous, that were popular, that were good, they all have a cast, right? You have all of the people, you get to know them in the first season, and then you have more seasons with them. You have like a lot of seasons to know those characters, to have character development. Sure, sometimes things happen. You know what I mean? Maybe an actor leaves the show, but you still had a lot of time with them. In like shows like The Flash, we had 9 seasons. I swear I can't move. We had like 9 seasons with Barry and Iris. They were like 9 seasons, and they were in all of those 9 seasons. You know what I mean? Sure, Iris was like missing for some episodes, but she was there. And this to say that, of course, we kind of do have a cast here, but the only people that were in season 2 that were in season 1 was just Peter and Rose. I mean, mainly because all of the people that were in season 1, they died. You know what I mean? Basically, all of them died. So it's not like you can bring people back. But that's one thing that I hate about shows now, is that, and I'm guessing it's because they don't want to pay the actors. That's what I'm guessing. Because if you look at season 1, we had the killers. The 2 killers, they both died. We had Chelsea and the other guy that was shot protecting the president. He died. Chelsea was nowhere to be found in the season. She was like in the last episode in just a little bit, but she wasn't in the season. Who else? The lady that was friends with Rose's aunt and uncle, dead. Other people that came in the show, dead. The president, even the president that they saved in the last episode of season 1, nowhere to be found in the season. She was like in the beginning. I thought she was like in the first episode only, and she wasn't the president anymore. It's such a drastic change that it bothers me. It's like they don't want people to be connected. Sure, you still have Peter and Rose, but even their relationship was different in the second season. And it's like, if you would have shown this show to a person and you show them only season 1, only season 2, but you tell them it's season 1, they probably would have believed it. You know what I mean? The way it was like structured, it was literally like another season 1. It's like this show has 2 season 1s. Because, and that's what I was kind of afraid of, and I said in the review for the first season, I said, every story that we had in season 1 was basically concluded. It had a conclusion. All of the people that were in season 1, most of them died. So it's not like, you know, when a villain comes back in a show and you're like, oh my god, not them again. But that's what makes you then kind of like the villain, because they keep going. They have that purpose to continue being evil. And then maybe in some shows they turn out good and they come to our side and they stop being evil and then they help us fight another villain. This is not possible because everyone died. And so then in season 2, we got a new villain. We got new villains. We got the guy that plays Enzo in the Vampire Diaries. Oh my god, I was so happy to see him in the show. Dead. Last episode, got shot, dead. Season 3 is already being filmed. Who's gonna be the villain? Probably another person. And what? It's gonna be another season 1? And what I mean by this is, like, you have the two characters. You have Rose and Peter. They have a storyline. They go through the storyline. Everybody died. Everything has a conclusion. Season 2, they go to a storyline. Everybody dies. We get to a conclusion. Done. But with season 2, I would say at least we got Noor and Catherine. At least we got 2 more characters. And they're alive. So at least there's that. But I feel like that should have been the same with season 1. Like, of course, with season 1, the only person I can think of is Chelsea. She's the only one that was, like, a good character that's still alive. And they didn't even take advantage of her in season 2. They just left her out of the season. And I'm like, what was the purpose of having her in season 1 and having us like the character and everything that happened for her not to be in season 2? And it could have been easily something like Peter needs help. So he's going to contact the people that he kind of made a friendship with, right? So it would make totally sense that he would ask Chelsea for help. Never happened. They never even talked in season 2. And it's like, it's supposed to be season 2. It's supposed to be a continuation. Of course, you're going to have a new storyline. And I kind of liked the storyline, even though it felt more generic. Again, season 1 storyline was much better. But it was like, season 2 was like, oh, they need to make a bomb. And they made a little bit of the bioweapon. And then they made a little bit, but not all they wanted. But they still try to use it. And it's like, oh, how many times have we seen that? Like, the storyline for season 1 was so good because it was so in that world. It was about night action. It was about the aunt and uncle. It was about trying to figure out what happened. Trying to save the president. Right. And then season 2, it just comes in. We got this new set of characters. Especially Alice. We get introduced to Alice. And I love the actress. I was like, okay, I'm ready to love Alice. Dead in the first episode. And I'm like, okay, great. What a fucking waste. And then I'm like, okay, maybe they're going to get a flashback. We got like 1 flashback. 2 maximum. That's it. Nothing else. And I'm like, okay. What was the purpose? What was the purpose of Alice then? Nothing. She did nothing, basically. She died in the first 5 minutes. And she was just walking. That's what fucking bothered me. Because later in the show, they said, like, oh, the other people were listening to the comms, so they knew where the rendezvous point was. Peter was running for his fucking life. And Alice was just walking. She was just like, oh. And then Peter comes running. He's like, Alice. And she's just walking. Like it's no biggie. Like she's not running from criminals in a foreign country. No, she's just walking. And then she gets shot and it's like, oh, are you dumb? Okay, she didn't know they were listening, but it's like, you were so close to the rendezvous point. You were so close to getting away, but you didn't because you decided to walk? You decided to stop running when you weren't safe? And then Peter was like, oh, maybe if we hadn't split up, maybe if I ran faster. And I'm like, no, maybe if she would have ran, a little bit, she wouldn't have died. And so then it's like, I loved season 1 so much. Loved getting to know these characters. Even if it was just a little bit with some of the characters, I was still kind of sad that they died. And now we get to season 2 and we get a whole new set of characters. And I'm like, okay, we have to do this again. We have to get to know new characters again, just for them to die again. And it's like, season 2 is supposed to be a continuation. You're supposed to utilize the same characters with a new storyline, or even a storyline like that is a continuation from season 1. They did a completely different thing. And it's like, what even if it is the purpose of having season 2? If you're just going to make it like another season 1. There's no point. There's no point. Even though I like Noor, she was flip-flopping from one side to another, like, goddamn. Goddamn. But at the end, her and Rose, like, I like their friendship. And I like Noor. And I like Catherine. But why couldn't we have Catherine in season 1? Because in season 1, we would have learned to like Catherine in season 1. And now we would have her in season 2. But now we only just have her in season 2. And she's basically replacing Diana. Or Diane, whatever her name was. Which she was also not in the season. She was arrested. Couldn't they have done like a storyline where she was like in prison, somebody releases her, and she comes back for revenge on Peter? That's what you're supposed to do in a season 2. You're supposed to utilize the storylines and what happened in season 1 and utilize them in season 2. It could have been something where Peter needs help. So who's the last person that he would ask for help? Diane. But he has to go ask her for help because he doesn't have another option. Did they do that? No, they introduced somebody else. They said, get somebody else to do it because we don't want to pay the actress again. Just get somebody new, because then that's a new salary. We have to pay them less. I'm just guessing, and I almost know for certain that's what the fuck it is. Get a whole new set of people so that they don't have to pay more. Because I think they get paid more for season, right? If you get a new cast, you don't have to pay them more. You just have to pay what you paid the first cast in the first season. They just had to pay Peter and Rose more. And Chelsea made a little cameo. Oh my God. That's what fucking bothers me. And that's also the reason I can't like. But I like the season though. But I can't love it. Because it just felt like another season 1. And it's like, okay, like I like it. And it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. And I'm glad it wasn't bad. But was it as good as season 1? No. And so it's like, okay. Because season 1 storyline was top tier. And then season 2 is also like a storyline that's like basic. You have the villains that buy information, whatever. They wanted to make a bomb because they wanted to get revenge on somebody, or the bio weapon. They get there and they saved everybody in the nick of time. So yeah, I can't love season 2 because of that. You had Diana. Basically all of them died, but you had Chelsea, you had Diana. You had the president. And they said like she wasn't the president anymore, and like she wasn't gonna do a rerun. You could have done that. You could have done the woman that was president, the blonde woman. You could have been like she wants to rerun for president. She wants to be the president again, but somebody is trying to stop her. So Peter and Chelsea would have to work together to stop who was coming after them. And Catherine could have still been there. She was the supervisor. They could have still been working with the other people. And it's like, that's, you could have done, they could have done what they did, but like better. And instead of the UN, they could have done the gas and in the White House. Like they wanted to kill everybody in the White House. You're gonna tell me that wouldn't have been a better storyline? You know what I mean? And they would have to save the president. I mean, it would, because it would have been like they have to save the president again. But I feel like that's the highest stake you have, because it's the president. And they still could have like killed her in the end, like, you know what I mean? Like they could have saved everybody in the White House, but they had, like, the villains had a second plan and they still killed the president. And then you still have some kind of consequences, and that's how season 2 could have ended. And then season 3 is like, oh, who's gonna be the next president? You know what I mean? And that's kind of how it ended. Like, one of the candidates left the run for president, and now the governor is gonna be the president, basically. But you could have done that by killing the other woman that was the president, and she wanted to run again, but the villains got to her. And so now they would have to deal with a new president. And so, see, just from the top of my head, I could have done such a better job. And Diane Farr was chief of security, so she could have helped in the storyline. You know, those things that's like the villain kind of becomes the anti-villain. Like, they're not necessarily bad, but they're not necessarily good. So Diane could have helped Peter and Chelsea and Rose too. And it's like, yeah, it just felt like another season 1. So like I said, if you show this show to somebody and you tell them to just watch season 2, it could literally feel like a season 1. The only thing you wouldn't know was the context between Rose and Peter, like how they met and what they went through. But then everybody else and everything that happened is new. So it's like, literally that's it. But yes, like I said, season 3 is already in filming. So I guess now we'll wait for season 3. Rose better be in it. They better not leave Rose out of it. Okay. Noor is alive. Catherine is alive. So we got some people. Chelsea made an appearance in the last episode. And because it's going to be the story with the governor, maybe Chelsea's going to be there. But I just know her and Peter are going to be like frenemies, because she works for the governor, and he's going to try and expose the governor. So they're going to go against each other. So we'll see. But yeah, let's just hope Catherine and Rose are in the season. I don't think Noor is going to be. But yeah, guess we'll have to wait and see. And see if they don't make another season 1. See if they take advantage of what they already built in season 1 and 2, and they make it work in season 3. And that they don't do a new, completely different thing. I really hope they don't do that. But yeah, definitely let me know down below on the show if you like it. If you didn't, what you think of season 1 and 2? Like and subscribe, and I guess I'll see y'all next year, because season 2 just came out, so I don't think they will release season 3 this year. But I guess we'll see, right? But yeah, that's gonna be all. And I guess I'll see y'all on the next one. Bye.